Hey everybody! So the other day I realized that I recently passed a very monumental milestone in my hysterectomy surgery journey, and I wasn't counting, but it occurred to me that I am now 90 plus days post surgery. So if you have been keeping up with my journey, thank you so much for all of the encouraging, I've received encouraging emails and comments and things like that, so I really appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, hello, I'm Nicole. I make mental wellness and wellness, whole body wellness content, and part of my personal journey with achieving the greatest level of whole body wellness that I can achieve, part of my journey was to have a hysterectomy, a partial hysterectomy surgery back on April 24th, 2023 is a date that I've memorized. So now I'm shooting this in August, so I'm a little bit past 90 days. I should have counted, but I didn't. But the other day, it occurred to me that I was past 90 days. And when I was watching videos of other women who have been through this process, I watched as far into the future as they took me. I wanted to know how they felt 90 days, 6 months, the whole thing. I wanted to know. So I am making this content in case you're following along with me and want to know the same thing. So I will link down below my playlist about my period and my hysterectomy journey and all of that stuff, so you can check that out. I've been making videos about it for 2 years. I've gone from seriously having horrible periods, a horrible struggle, to now I feel great. So 90 days passed. Like I mentioned, I think in my 6-week checkup video, I of course have my weightlifting restrictions lifted. And it's funny that I'm making this video right now because the other day, today I'm recording this on a Friday. So I think it was 3 days ago, I actually did my first kind of heavy lifting workout, and after I was done, I was like, oh my God, I didn't feel anything. I feel great. So I'm starting back my journey of getting healthier, losing weight, gaining strength, and I'm also making videos about my weight loss journey. So if you're interested in that too, I will also link my playlist down below so you can check that out as well. So I feel great. I'm not quite as emotional as I was when I first had the surgery, because if you watch my old videos, you'll see that I am overwhelmed with joy and happiness and gratitude. And so I still feel so much joy and so much gratitude, but I'm not crying every day with so much joy. I've not had any sad tears. All of my tears have been 100% joy, relief. If you've been dealing with the symptoms that go along with a really heavy period and really unpredictable periods like I went through for years, and just basically you take a magic pill and you just wake up and it's all over. If that has ever happened to you like it happened to me after my surgery, I'm sure you can understand why for several weeks I was just oh my God, my life is so much better. It's so great. Emotionally, I'm still, in a good place with how I feel about the surgery. I have never once even remotely regretted having the surgery. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, know that I do not have children, and this was a good choice for me. And one of the things that I wondered, even though really I've never wanted kids my whole life, but I did kind of think okay, now that I am going to choose to pretty permanently take away that option to ever have kids, I still have ovaries, so I guess technically I could like have my eggs harvested and have a person carry my baby and all this stuff. But I'm not interested in any of that, and it's also very expensive, so I've heard. So, but like for me, like realistically, I permanently removed the option to, you know, have a baby of my own. And I did wonder, like, oh my God, am I at some point going to regret this decision or think I will want a baby or stuff like that? Before and after, I do not feel that way. I still feel great about my decision emotionally and mentally. I'm still really happy. I'm still really hopeful for my future, all of that. So I have not had any mental issues or emotional issues or anything like that concerning having the hysterectomy. So that's that part. Physically, like I said before, I feel great. Several people have commented on my skin also. Even people who I was like surprised that they were asking like, what is my skin routine or something, you know, something like that. The truth is I don't really have a skin routine. I mean, I can video what I do, but the biggest thing that positively affected how I look physically, especially my skin, is I no longer bleed constantly. I was bleeding profusely, like so much, for like about a year before my hysterectomy surgery, and it just progressively got worse basically the closer in time I got to the surgery. But for several years before, I had irregular periods and lots of problems with bleeding. And it turns out your body is not supposed to bleed all the time. Who knew? I did. I know now. I did not honestly know the level at which the constant bleeding and like trying to maintain it, and the stress, very stressful to be constantly bleeding or constantly thinking about when my period is going to come and bleeding in between your periods and like having really heavy periods and things like that. It was a constant thing that I had to consider with what I wore, what I ate, where I was going, what I took with me when I was going places. It was a constant source of overwhelming stress that I just became used to. And now that I am no longer in that situation, I can look back and really pity myself because I had become used to feeling so miserable and dealing with all of these miserable things. So all that to say, going back to the skincare stuff, I stopped bleeding, and it has really helped with the color of my face, like the evenness of my face. And I also think that part of how people perceive you is your energy level. So even if we had like a scientific examination of my skin to know exactly how things, you know, happen and how I look before versus after, I think I am positive there are physical differences. But another part of how people perceive you is your energy level, and like how you are feeling physically really affects how you project and how you know, how you look to other people. Part of like how we look physically is also how people feel about us. So I know that I have way more energy. I have way more hope. I'm so much happier. I'm not like perfect. I still have other things I want to change in my life that I'm working on. I still want a partner. I still feel lonely, like all these things, right? But getting rid of that constant dread and fear of bleeding and going somewhere and bleeding out and like all of the medical things, getting rid of that has really increased my energy level and like how I am able to interact with people as well. I really am much happier. A woman in Whole Foods, and maybe one day I'll make a whole story about this, because this was one of the most beautiful nods from the universe that I got after I'd had my surgery. But basically, about a month or so after I'd had my surgery, I was in Whole Foods and a stranger came up to me, complimented me, blah blah blah, and she told me that I was glowing. And at that time, I was still not quite healed. I was still moving kind of slowly. I was still also recovering from having been through several very heavy bleeding events before I had the surgery. So my body was really very much still recovering. And I was still so weak and slow moving and just kind of timid. But I felt so much better. And that woman complimented me in Whole Foods. I had several other strangers just come up to me and just say, "You look amazing, you're glowing." And even though I wasn't all the way healed yet. So that whole ramble about, it's not really about skincare, it's really about how you feel physically and how that manifests in your energy and how you project to other people, how you seem to other people. All of those things have been greatly improved in my life since I had the hysterectomy, because I physically feel so much better and I have less stress and less worries about constant bleeding. So that is that. So that's my emotional part, that's my physical part. A couple of things that I heard from other people's videos that have not happened to me. I have had a really amazing recovery, and I had a really great surgery thing, or everything just went very smoothly. I've had no complications. So I'm very thankful. I can only really think of one thing, and it's one thing that I heard in other people's videos, and it's about gas. So if you've been waiting, girl, get to the point about what's going wrong. The only thing, and I would trade having this problem, this situation, over what I was going through before any day. I'd make the same decision every single day if I had to. Gas is now so much more painful. It's almost comically more painful than it was before. So, short background, I don't have a sensitive stomach towards medicine, but certain foods really give me gas. I am lactose intolerant, but I still love ice cream. And I love Greek yogurt. So on the days when I eat Greek yogurt or ice cream, I have noticed that the gas that I had gas before. So the hysterectomy did not make my stomach start producing gas. I have always had issues with gas with, dairy and onions and sometimes tomatoes. Those are my big three culprits. But now, when I have gas, it is way more painful. And I don't know if it's my body is still kind of healing and the gas is pushing against nerves or something, but that's the only issue that I've had. I don't often have ice cream and dairy product, other dairy products and tomatoes and onions, especially raw onions and tomatoes kind of cooked, so opposite. But I don't often have those things and eat them and be unprepared. So I know I have this gas issue. So I usually take some apple cider vinegar with some water before I eat those things. Or I might take a little Gas X, or whatever kind of thing that you use to kind of control your gas and stuff to make it come out. My problem is sometimes the gas won't come out. This is funny, but men can fart like nobody's business, it seems. What a privilege that is. But sometimes I have trapped gas. and like you can feel it like in your shoulder. Like some other ladies who have had hysterectomy surgeries, they said they had gas in their shoulder and upper body. I did not have that. My bed lifts up, so I think that kind of prevented me from having that problem when I first had the surgery. But now on a day-to-day basis, I'm noticing that when I have trapped gas from something that I've eaten, it feels more painful, like in my lower pelvic area. But then once the gas escapes, so to speak, I feel fine and it's okay. And so that's the only thing that I have experienced that I think is related to the hysterectomy surgery. It could be related to something else, but that's the only thing that I have experienced that it's like a difference, you know, before and now, and that is quote unquote a negative. Such a small thing, such a very easy thing to manage. I don't even really think about it, but I did want to be as transparent as possible as I could and give you everything that I've noticed. So energy levels are high because I'm not constantly losing blood. Hello, of course. Mental health is better, physical health is better. Starting to get back into weight training, so I'm hoping to like look better and continue to feel better throughout the rest of my wellness journey. And I just have to monitor my gas in my belly. That's it. So that's all I've got, and I hope this video was helpful. If you have specific questions about my recovery or advice or anything like that, several people have reached out to me in the comments or they have emailed me. Feel free to do that. I would love to hear from you. I would love to help you. Oh my God, because this is a thing that a lot of us go through. I would love to help you. I'm not just saying that. You email me, you comment, I'm going to comment back, I'm going to email you back. So I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.